He will be in conversation with Money Control's Mahalakshmi. A huge round of applause to welcome Mr. Ashish Chauhan.
First of all, Ashish, thank you so much for making time for this very special event. This is our second FinTech conclave. And really, like Chandra said, FinTech is a buzzword today, but you were part of the founding team that created, in a sense, the first FinTech in India. The topic for today's discussion is building resilience as a FinTech, which, of course, you've spent a significant part of your career building stock exchanges, first with NSE, then with BSE, now back at NSE. There is disruption that is happening in the industry. We will talk about that. But first, give us some anecdotes into those initial days of building NSE.
I think I can go on for the entire night. Books can be written on all those anecdotes. But basically, it came out of the Harshad Mehta scam as a reaction to the scam, saying the brokers are running the exchanges for their benefits, and we need to have the exchanges which are running by professionals. So that's where it came out. But effectively, when we were setting up, India did not even have good telephone lines. If you had applied for telephone line, it would take 5 years to come to your house. And most of the time, it wouldn't work unless you gave a lot of money to the linesman every month, right? So that time, and another experiment called OTC, I don't know how many of you have heard of Over-the-Counter Exchange of India. It had already failed. It was kind of a stillborn, right? And we had seen that if you have a bad telephone line, you can't have a real-time situation happening. So we said we will use the satellite telecom. But the satellites, India was sending satellites, but we were not using them for most of the things. And so we said we will use satellite telecom, and we went to the Department of Telecommunications. And for every satcom dish, which used to be like 5 feet in diameter, I had to take 60 approvals. From pillar to post in every region, every place we used to put. And they gave us a bandwidth called extended C-band, because I heard some portion of that telecom revolution, 2004, 2014, lost decade and all. But NSE was the first wireless private network in India, because NSE set up the satellite telecom, which works on wireless. Of course, now Elon Musk is coming, and we will actually call him the pioneer, but it happened in 1994. And I had to get actually the import certificates. You guys might not even heard of import certificates. So I had to go and buy some import certificates from the market. And one of the more interesting anecdotes, we were setting this up, the SATCOM network and the IT systems and all. And we had two large guys coming to set up our 30-feet diameter antenna on Mahindra Towers near the TV tower at Worli. That was our office. And somewhere we were not able to get the equipments out of customs, because there were a strike of customs official for 40 days. And in between, those guys were waiting, and in between, a news came that there is plague in Surat. Again, many of you might not have been born by that time, but Surat had plague in 1993. And so when I used to sleep in the office, like most of you would be, and so at 3 a.m., two of those large guys, like WWF guys, now it's called WWE, but those two guys came with good body, and I was like very puny. And so they said, we need to go. I said, okay, go. I'll keep on working. They said, no, we need to go home. And I said, which home? When you have a hotel, go. They said, no, we need to go to USA, because there is a plague in nearby city, and we are very afraid. And I said, boss, you guys are so healthy, and I'm like very puny. I mean, if somebody has to die, I will die. What is your problem? Right? And they said, no, we'll go, by the first flight out. So I had to wake up the main contractor, HCL Comnet CEO, and I had to tell him that, boss, these guys are willing to go. He said, boss, there is no choice. If they want to go, you can't stop them. And so I said, okay, show me your passport. So they gave me the passport. I put that into my drawer, both the passports, and locked and ran away, saying, abhi jao. So that was, and then of course we had a lot of negotiations between their company, our contractor and me. And we said, okay, if we cannot get the equipments out within 7 days, then they are willing to go. Because I knew that if they go, then they will not come back for next 1 year. Because they are so afraid. Now, of course, COVID has, leveled the playing field. Everyone had it. But earlier, plague and other stuff only used to happen to what we call developing countries. But there are many, many such instances and incidents which were like very funny in retrospect. When I was going through it, they were not funny.
Right. Lovely story, Ashish. So, the original time in the 90s, the way you built Fintech, obviously NSE was also built because the government wanted that infrastructure to come up. So in that environment, there are, challenges like what you were talking about. In today's environment, there is a lot of, the regulators are very active. For a good part, it's a good thing because we have a cleaner system, more transparent, minimize risk at the system level and all of that. But it also means that it's very fast evolving and business models have to evolve and adapt to that faster. What do you see within NSE? How do you navigate this whole environment? Because your industry has seen a lot of changes, very rapid changes in regulations over the last few years.
In a way, we are at the center, and the brokers are at the kind of periphery to support the investors. And now it has become a very large ship, right? It's a 10.7 crore direct investors, unique investors. We have totally around 21 crore accounts, 10.7 crore investors, $5.4 trillion of market capitalization. So it's a very large ship, and you have to run it like a rickshaw. Somewhere something else comes, some cow comes and the rickshaw fellow is able to do that. We are also told that now, tomorrow, this will be changing. Day after tomorrow, this will be changing. And we can't make mistakes, because if I make mistakes, it will create an issue with all the brokers. Even 5 brokers is going to be difficult, because if you bought at 100, like you type on Google, you ask whatever you want, Google will give you answer whatever they want. Both of them may not be connected, right? But in our case, it cannot happen. In our case, when you want to buy at 100, I have to give you 100. Today, on a good day, I get 2,000 crore orders. 2,000 crore orders in 6 hours, 15 minutes. That is around 15 orders per every human in India, every day. 2,000 crore is also larger than UPI does in a month, 24/7. And I give you response time in 100 microseconds, which is in 1 second has a million microseconds. I'm going to now go to nanoseconds, which is a billion microseconds, billion nanoseconds. And each time you put that 2,000 crore orders, I have to create an order book, give it to you without delay, and equitably to all, and stuff like that. So every time there is a change, it's like a new nightmare. And most of the changes come out of regulations. Very little come out of the business requirements. And so they come out in isolation of your ability to change. And many of you might be going through that in your businesses, that suddenly the competition has changed, the regulation has changed, or regulator has mandated something. You have to do that, right? And you have to burn the sort of night oil or whatever it is called every day. So I literally today, it's a habit for now 30 years or 32 years that when I wake up, I look at my mobile in the night. When I wake up anytime, I look at my mobile and say, okay, things are going as per plan or not for 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., like that, right? So any change is a difficult change, but at our kind of scale and stuff, it's very, very rigorous testing that has to go through. we are also made to do every month a mock trade from our DR site, disaster recovery site. It has to have like exact 100, if I have 100 servers here, 100 servers there. And we do mock trading on weekends every month from the disaster recovery site. But twice a year, we do real life trading, live trading on normal days from the disaster recovery site. And one day, SEBI said, no, now you have to close down halfway and take it up from the DR site. So we said, yaar, normal din pe nahi kar sakte. Saturday ko karte hain. So we did it, it worked. And then they said, no, but you actually shut down your production site on a gradual basis, on a predictable basis. So now it has to go down suddenly. So that is like a disaster. You recreate disaster. So we did that also. And so it's many of these things like DR sites and all, nowhere in the world actually people do real life anywhere. On not only stock exchange, no other thing, right? They create DR site and hope that it will work whenever it's required. Most times it doesn't work when production goes down, but it's like a insurance which usually doesn't come, right? But it gives you comfort till the time it doesn't come. So while as in India, our regulators want to check, nahi boss, ye barabar nahi kiya, wo barabar nahi kiya. So it's a regular, I mean, in a way, I have got used to it because of, that is, I mean, in a way, I started the automation of stock markets in the world and have been there throughout, so it is okay. But any new person will find it very difficult.
And so, Ashish, the disruption that you're seeing in the broking industry and in the stock market exchanges, is this the biggest that you have ever seen? Because there's so many things that are happening together. One is this F&O regulations, which, helped us gain in terms of volume significantly over the last few years. Now it is also sort of something that will bring it down. Second is this true to label circular that SEBI brought in. Third thing is this SME, which is also growing very fast. Now SEBI is concerned that there is fraud in that area. They want to bring in tighter regulations into it, more vigilance on part of exchanges. So all of these put together, it's looked like a lot is changing. Is this the biggest disruption you have seen in your career? And again, you said, it's like the auto, the rickshaw guy, spearing to, the cow on the road. How do you create this mindset and culture to cope with all this?
In a way, I think today what is happening is not even a fraction of what happened between, say, 92 and 2000. 92 to 2000 was a period in India's history which will never repeat. We created a completely state-of-the-art automated system for stock exchange, but it was also the first public digital infrastructure of India, where people from across the country could place orders and get execution done in 2 seconds. It was like magic. When I inaugurated the first terminal outside Mumbai in Coimbatore and placed an order, it got matched. That person couldn't believe. He said, "Bas, you're faking." And then every day news would come, कि satellite गिर गया, rumors that satellite गिर गया, ये हो गया, वो हो गया, NSE default हो गया. All sorts of things used to happen. Of course, BSE had a default called MS Shoes. Some of you from stock market might know, but it used to be like lots of rumors. And then we had a concept of margining system, which was always one-sided, that if market is going up, you will try to margin that side and all. We created a real-time margining system, first time in the world, and that clearing corporation came out of that. That's where the perennial defaults, BSE used to have, or all other exchanges used to have once in a year, once in 2 years, some default, and sort of market will be closed for a few days or a month, and then again they will start. So that got closed because we started putting settlement guarantees by taking real-time margins, calculating them, and then we set up a depository because we had fake certificates. Shares used to be certificates, and currency printing is still a crime. But share certificate printing, the police could not even understand how it was a crime. So everyone and their brother started printing because printing technology improved. So color printing came at home. And the first thing people started doing was to start printing share certificates. And ACC and other things started coming. And one day, I had many shares started coming back from registrars. And at some point in time, I had like 40 crores. In those days, 40 crores were like today's 400 crores. 40 crores rupees worth shares, which were fake, were delivered to us. And of course, we knew which broker had delivered, so we got him, we filed FIR, got him into jail. And while going into jail, he said, "Saab, आपने मुझे जेल में डाला है, मैं तो कल वापस आ जाऊंगा, आपका क्या होगा?" Right? So, in a way, what happened between 92 to 2000, we put price bands today, what we call circuit breakers, all those things which are unique to India, although they are given names of what New York Stock Exchange calls circuit breakers, it is not the same as what we do. Ours is a price band where prices don't move beyond those numbers. You cannot place orders and stuff like that. These were all devised because of the experiences we gained. And those kind of tumultuous kind of periods in terms of regulations writing, going back to writing algorithms to do that, coming back, testing, putting them live. Those kind of stuff cannot happen because we are already in third, fourth stage of automation in our market. So I don't think what we are doing today is even remotely close to what was happening, the excitement. The entire country was changing in some ways. And of course, the IT confidence of India came out of NSE because that was the first large project in public. And then when Y2K came, every IT company worth its name, whoever are now billionaires, used to come to NSE with their foreign-looking customers, then show that Indians can do this. That's how they got those contracts. And that's where basically every person who was not even IT engineer, we had very few IT engineers, started printing certificates of the IT engineering also at home and started going to America and things like that. That's how we got the IT prowess. But most of it started from NSE.
Right. Unfortunately, Ashish, that's all the time we have. But just one last question. What would be your advice to the fintech founders of today?
Don't believe in your bluff. You have to be grounded. Things will happen. Whatever you pitch to your customers or your investors, but you have to be grounded, right? And I have been a serially failed entrepreneur, okay? So I can tell out of my experience that most of the businesses, however good technologically you are or a business understanding you have or anything, finally there are extraneous circumstances which may ensure that you may not succeed. But you still need to continue, be grounded and continue to work, continue to pivot all the time. We were actually, NSE when it started, it was supposed to be a model exchange for bonds trading. Can you believe it? 3 months we started, first month we started when Dr. Manmohan Singh did not even give appointment to inaugurate. So we started SAE. It is now called beta. Gmail continued on beta for 20 years, but we continued on beta for 1 or 2 months. And then I think May we started, July he gave the appointment. He came and inaugurated. But within few months of that, the bond market started going down in terms of trading. And then one day my boss called saying, Ashish, now we are, I think it was August. And he said, now we are launching equities on November 3, 94, which is a Diwali day evening. And I said, boss, it was supposed to be 2 years because those days programming used to be like very tough. Any change would take you months and years. And I said, boss, we are creating this new software which will take us 2-3 years. He said, no, nothing doing. Whatever you have to do, but November 3, 94 is when we are starting. And whenever I meet young founders or people working in fintech or any other areas, always they are under pressure and I keep on sympathizing. But that is how life is going to be. You have to run very hard to stay at the same place on the treadmill, right? So welcome to the world of fintech.
Sure. On that note, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ashish, for making time today.
Can we have a huge round of applause for the Fintech founder in the room? Many valuable lessons there, including don't believe in your own bluff and stay grounded. Thank you so much, Mr. Chauhan. Mahalakshmi, I'm going to request you to stay back because now